Now, everyone loves reincarnation manhwas, or at least most of us do. And reincarnation manhwas where the main character is reborn as a child, it just gives a different feel, you know? It makes you feel like you're on a journey with the main character and is able to see how he grows and develops. And it's just fun. So here's a list of my top 10 picks. To hell with being a saint, I'm a doctor. Seong is a genius doctor famous in the medical world. He who spent his whole life in an operation room died in a traffic accident, and when he woke up he was in another world. My first impression of this manhwa wasn't all that good. Honestly, I thought it was going to be just another boring manhwa, but this manhwa is a bit different than usual, and there are some entertaining fight scenes, so it's not all that bad. I wouldn't say that the art is the best thing about this manhwa, but if you're just looking for something fun to read, then that's not a problem either, and the pacing of the story is on point as well. Damn Reincarnation. Hamill, a warrior who traveled with his colleagues to exterminate the devil. Yet, he died just before the battle with the devil started. He was reborn as the descendant of his fellow warrior, Vermouth, the descendant from the bloodline of the Great Vermouth. Now he is Eugene Lionheart. Well, this is your typical reincarnation manhwa where the main character gets insanely strong quickly, but nonetheless, it was very entertaining and the main character makes the story more fun to read, at least until the real fight starts. The translation on this one is actually really good, which was actually a breath of fresh air for me, since I was forcing myself to read some really trashy manhwas, and I have no idea why. But yeah, it might sound like an average manhwa and it might end up being just that, depends on the person, but just give it a read before deciding. Worthless Regression. An ordinary middle schooler, Lee Sung-min, is summoned to this world called Area. He endures for dozens of years with no talents or powers, and makes it through all kinds of hardships to survive, but dies miserably in the end. So if you're really into manhwas where the main character starts off weak and slowly gets stronger, then this manhwa fully satisfies that criteria. The main character is a talentless nobody, and he knows but he's not proud of it though, and he struggles with everything he has to become stronger, and it's exciting to see how he gradually grows and accomplishes his goals. The pacing of the story is on point as well, so nothing feels rushed and you can enjoy the manhwa to the fullest. Past Life Regressor. Would you like to reverse time? All stats will be reset. Please pick a date. February 28th, 1985, the day he was born. Wealth. He will seize all the money in the world. Monopoly. He will seize all the dungeons in the world, at this time, while the world is still peaceful. Now, while this manhwa is considerably boring, no, scratch that. This manhwa is just straight up a pain to read. It makes me feel like I'm at school or something listening to a boring lecture, and it wouldn't have been that bad if the art was somewhat okay. But it looks like someone from the 70s drew this. No offense to anyone born during that time. But if you have nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing else to read, then by all means go ahead. Absolute Sword Sense. With his dantian shattering from a key rampage, Su Woon Yui was cast aside by his family. After that, he was kidnapped by the Blood Cult, where he spent his life as a third-rate spy. One day, he's killed after being used to find the legendary secret records of the Sword Sage, but instead of really dying, he wakes up 10 years in the past on the day he was kidnapped by the Blood Cult, along with the power to hear the voices of swords. So the main character isn't really that overpowered in the beginning, but the story is headed that way, and with his knowledge from his previous life, he has no problem killing who needs to be killed, and using whoever he wants to benefit him. So I'd say along with a pretty good art, you're getting a well-developed story, or that's what it seems like so far. Competition for Revival. If a future full of wealth and honor is guaranteed, will you reverse your choice of death? A fierce competition began to seize the last chance of revival only given to those who died on their own. So if you want to live again, then hang in there. Honestly, I feel lost after reading this manhwa. I read it and I still have no clue what it's about. I just know that it seems interesting and the art is really good. That's literally the only reason I kept reading it. But don't get it twisted though, that doesn't mean the manhwa is bad. It's just me being too dumb to understand it. and so far it seems to be headed in the right direction, so it won't end up becoming trash anytime soon. Standard of Reincarnation. He had a new family tradition, a naturally gifted body, experience from his past life, and the god Yulin with him as well. After his reincarnation, everything changed and a new adventure started. Now, I don't really have much to say for this one. I don't know if it's boring or if it's because of the slow pacing, but this had me skipping chapters just to keep reading it. But hopefully the pacing changes and the author speeds things up a little bit. But yeah, other than that huge fact, it's perfectly fine for now. At least it has every element a normal manhwa would have, and maybe you'll end up liking it a whole lot more after seeing it, since that's how it normally goes for me. So the last say in this one is up to you guys. The Lazy Swordsman. In his past life, Riley Ifileta was a hero who defeated the Demon Lord. Though he emerged victorious from his battles, the emotional strains from fighting all the time got the best of him. After experiencing a rebirth in a powerful family who upheld their reputation through swordsmanship, and didn't lack the power to support his leisurely life, Riley decided to become House of Ifileta's lazy swordsman. So our main character has vowed not to use a sword again because of what happened in his past life, but he ends up doing the opposite. He's what you'd expect from a main character, smart, cool, overpowered. The art is average, although I can't really say the same about the storyline, as it is very interesting. It can feel a bit slow at times, but the action is there, trust me. The legendary youngest son of the Marquis house. He came here with only the goal of revenge. He overthrew the Tulkun Empire, a single nation that dominated the continent. He had always succeeded in gaining victory. He had accomplished all he needed to and was satisfied. That's why he accepted his approaching death. He no longer had a reason to live, and so his heart stopped beating. Well, for this one, it's just your typical regression type manhwa with a slightly different feel to it. But I can't say the same for the art since it's the only reason why I kept reading it. The story itself isn't half bad, it's just that this isn't my type of manhwa. But the pacing of the story is slow and nice, and the main character isn't all that bad either. Existence. One day it was a herd of ants, on another it was a large dinosaur. This was the last reincarnation of a being that had experienced tens of thousands of lives. Now he was born as a human with the power of every single life form he had ever been. First of all, there's only one downside to this manhwa, and it's the fact that it doesn't have a lot of chapters, which makes me wish I had never read it. For all those real manhwa readers, you'll be able to tell that this manhwa is gold just from the first chapters. Trust me, it's just that good that I don't even care about the negatives, if there was actually one. But yeah, read at your own risk. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. And if you're new here, drop a like and subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications to know when I post a new video. And I'll see you in the next video.